Coach, a combined 4 for 17 with runners in scoring position today. Just what did you see in that aspect of what went wrong?
Well, I think you saw a lot of guys not do a good job with two strikes. A few guys didn't cover the outer half on some pitches that stick out in my mind. Other guys out front, some guys took huge hacks with two strikes that you would have liked to have seen them take that earlier in the count. But there were opportunities prior to two strikes to get it done too, with maybe a little bit better approach. Um, so that's kind of what I saw. Credit to their guys, I guess, maybe making some pitches. It'll be interesting to review each one of those, with some video review because there were all some big situations.
We'll go to Ryan next, then Gustavo.
Yeah, what was your analysis of Elijah and Blade today?
Just okay. I mean, Blade pitched kind of like he did last week, well enough to give us an opportunity to win. Nothing dynamic. I think, kind of like Chad Dallas, slowly building his pitch count up if he's going to be one of our starters. And then Elijah, from my vantage point, again, you watch the video, you can always see a lot better, but from my vantage point, wasn't necessarily executing the pitches that were being called by Coach Anderson, and also run into a little bit of a buzzsaw. I mean, we gave them a lot of juice. I mean, they earned it by getting a win in game one, but by losing that first game, we gave them a lot of juice. And I think their hitters were incredibly dialed in after feeling pretty good about themselves after taking game one.
Coach, first two losses of the season. What is your biggest takeaway from those two defeats? Of course, nobody wants to lose, but at least I imagine you're gonna take some takeaways and, as you said, watch some videos and learn from for tomorrow's game and coming forward to the season.
Well, Kirby's the biggest thing I take away. Sometimes it's a blessing, sometimes it's a curse. I always try and be positive, and that's the biggest takeaway. But there are way too many negatives today, and a lot of them were from adjustments we need to make or bad habits we've picked up. And those have today's, not the only day that those have gone on. We've just been good enough either on the mound or competitiveness wise, or have gotten a hit at the right time, that we've been able to overcome those. So I don't know that our record is directly reflected how well we're executing. It's just, it is a competitive group. As you've seen, they wouldn't go away in game one, but there's some mistakes that need to be corrected by the coaches, and then the players need to take some responsibility and make some adjustments in some other areas.
I'll go back to Ben and then Ryan again after that.
Coach, where do you think those bad habits maybe were picked up from? Do you think it could be a lack of live baseball over the last year?
No, we've scrimmaged probably to an overkill in the fall. We scrimmaged to the point where our guys got a ton of at bats, some of them over 100, and then we rolled right in seamlessly. The weather's cooperated in fall, January, February. We've gotten the reps. If anything, we spent very little time doing some of the team meetings we do on very little things, or bunt coverages and stuff like that. So there's been a couple things we would have liked to have done differently if you're going to go chalk talk wise. But really anytime defensively we've been exposed, it's been guys not breaking down on ground balls, or, a couple of times we just didn't play catch as well as we needed to. It hasn't been necessarily Don Zimmer or whoever the hell you want to use as an example, having our guys in the right spot or calling the right play or any of that stuff. So I think it's just different. When the season gets rolling, it's different. When the season gets rolling, Chad Dallas isn't the guy he is in scrimmages. He relishes in the moment. He likes the lights being on, and he competes. And then for guys all the way on down the line on our roster, there's been some different things go on. And sometimes guys focus on the wrong things, or they put pressure on themselves. It's not necessary. And that can be an instigator as well. But you don't really know what you got till the season starts. And then once it does, it's how well can you make adjustments, and can you be one of those teams that you guys are talking about at the end of the year, not the beginning of the year, because you're peaking at the right time, because you recognize those things and you have the self-awareness and you get a little coaching and you make those adjustments.
How frustrating were some of the struggles with bases loaded today, and is that something that worries you long term at all?
Um, I think as we mentioned, the at bats were just not good with the bases loaded, but they weren't really that good all day long. I mean, right away we're out front. Way too many times. I think our first inning of the day, all 3 outs were the exact same way. First pitch of the at bat, and our guys were out front. So I think it was more, if I'm making any sense, I think it was more consistently throughout the day. It just so happened we had the bases loaded a few times and had at bats that weren't winning at bats that contributed nothing. There were a couple times where guys battled and it just didn't work out for them, but more times than not, frustrating at bats more than frustrating at bats with the bases loaded, if that's fair to say.
All right, we'll take one more question. We'll finish with Gustavo.
And coach, if I say at least one positive from this game was I imagine the 6th inning, the guys, even though they were down 7-0, they rallied, they got 5 runs. Take me to the 6th inning. I imagine it was one of the positives of the game, of this doubleheader.
Yeah, I mean, they're college kids. They should have more energy than anybody in the universe. So to give up is crazy at any point, but especially in the middle of the game of a doubleheader where both bullpens are going to get stretched a little bit thin, and then also we're on our home field. Basically, they did what they should do. But as you saw it, we got some production out of it. So you see the runs, and that's a positive reflection for the effort. But I appreciate you being positive. The flip side of that coin, is the first few innings of the game. We were still hung up in the fact that we could have won game 1. And to me, I don't think we had our best focus emotionally, physically, mentally, all those things till about halfway through that second game. And, we ran out of time.